Hi, LadyAmari here. This video is probably very long overdue, but I've had an increase of people asking me for some Ana tips and tricks. I've had people who are new to the Granny Gang and people who are already certified nanas. So I think with that being said, I've decided that it's time I just buckle down and make this video. I'm going to try and keep things short today by focusing on Ana's settings, abilities and kit, her perks, ultimate, and then positioning. And hopefully you guys either fine-tune some skills or maybe you learned something you didn't know before. The first thing that I wanted to focus on was my personal Ana settings and how I have her set up that best fits me. Some of the settings are going to be a little subjective, and whatever works best for you obviously is what you want to go with. But for those of you who might be looking for a starting point or some sort of base, this is kind of how I have her set up for me. When it comes to the allied health bars, this is just letting you know when someone's taking damage or not. I have it set to contextual, which means if someone takes damage, their health bar is going to pop up above their head. If they don't have any damage on them, there will be no health bar. It helps to cut down on some of the screen clutter and extra things that pop up on the screen. Another one that I tell a lot of people, regardless of what hero that you're playing, is the ally health visible through walls. This is huge. Some people don't notice that their teammates are low or that, someone died maybe while they were dying. So this way you can see all of your teammates regardless of how many walls they're through on the map. So maybe you're coming back from spawn and as you're walking, you realize that a couple more of your teammates died. You'll be able to see, oh, I went from 4 people on point to now 1 person on point. Never mind, I'm just going to regroup with my team. The next one is show friendly outlines. I always have that on. It's just really nice to be able to see your teammates always. One of the big ones, in my opinion, is the recoil recovery aim compensation. It's on by default. I personally turned it off. When it's on, it stops the recoil's downward pulling return motion, if you will. So if the player applies enough vertical crosshair movement after the shot, it will pull it down for you. I personally turned that off, so it's unaffected whatsoever. So it's my natural true aim, and it just, again, kind of feels a little more natural. Relative aim sensitivity while zoomed. You can do anywhere from 0 to 100%. I believe by default it's about 30%, but it's basically the multiplier that's added to the base aim sensitivity while you're zoomed. So multiplier meaning like the speed that you're moving. So the higher the number, the faster you're going to move while you're scoped in. My personal sweet spot that I really like is 38.67. That's what feels the most natural, and it feels really nice when I'm going from unscoped to scoped in terms of movement and overall DPI, I guess, if you will. Nano Boost requires target confirmation. It's off by default, meaning that it activates instantly the minute you push the button. And when you turn it on, activating Nano Boost must be confirmed by pressing primary fire. The prompt lasts for 3 seconds. It's reduced to 1 second if the line of sight to the target is blocked by terrain. It can be canceled by pressing your secondary fire. The last one that I think is important on the screen is the Nano Boost sensitivity. It is anywhere from 10% to 100%. By default, it's at 100%. Basically what this does is it adjusts the targeting sensitivity of the Nano Boost. So setting this to a lower value reduces the maximum view angle for acquiring a target. Putting that in layman's terms means the more sensitive it is, the more likely it's going to grab the first person that it thinks you're looking at. I lowered my Nano Boost sensitivity because it allowed for me to have a more fine-tuned choice on who I'm nanoing. The next thing I want to go over is my reticle setup. I personally like to keep the same reticle for both scoped in and non-scoped in shots. So I stick with the crosshair look. My thickness is about 1.1. My rotation is 46. My crosshair length is 3.5. I don't have a center gap. Opacity obviously is always turned all the way up. I don't really have an outline color on too much. It's just there just to add a little bit more visual to it. It's just there to add a little bit more of an enhanced look on the white. So I have about 50% there with a 1 and a 1 for the thickness and shift. My dot type is a triangle, as you can see down here at the bottom. And then my dot size is 0.06. It's really small. I have it there just to have something. And I do have it scale with the resolution of my screen. So the reason why I like using this X version here is because when you're firing, it extends the X out and makes it look like a full picture. And here's an example. When you hit a body shot, you can see the little white marks come from the edges of the reticle. And it's even better when you hit a headshot. Let's go over the basics about Ana. Ana is a 250 health support hero. She has a bionic rifle, she has a sleep dart, and a bionic grenade. The bionic rifle does 75 damage over 0.59 seconds, or 75 healing over 0.59 seconds. When you are unscoped with Ana's rifle, it is considered a projectile, which means you will have to lead your shots and kind of predict a little bit more where the enemy team is going to be. When you're using her ability called Take Aim, you hold the right click to zoom in, you then become a hit scan hero, which means that whoever you're looking at when you fire, that is the target that you're hitting. Something to note when you're zoomed in as Ana is that there's a tiny triangle on the screen. As you can see, it's like an upside down triangle. This triangle is kind of your, think of it like your area of effect almost. As long as you have a teammate within that triangle, you're going to be able to heal them, regardless if you're aimed directly at them. That is your go-to triangle when it comes to healing people. It does not work when you're aimed at the enemies. The next thing in Ana's kit is her abilities, which is her sleep dart. When you are firing a sleep dart at a non-tank hero, so anyone that's a DPS and or a support, they will be asleep for 5 seconds. If you are sleeping a tank, it is 3.5 seconds of sleep. So you lose about 1.5 seconds worth of their sleep time when you're firing a sleep dart at a tank. When it comes to Ana's bionic grenade, her damage is 75 and the healing is 75 when she throws it at a target. She does get a healing modification, so you actually get a plus 50% healing received on allies. So if you throw the grenade at them first, they will get a plus 50% healing for any shot after they are hit with the grenade. As for the enemies, if they are hit with a grenade, they will get a purple glow around them, and this will indicate that they are not allowed to take any healing during this time. It does last for 3 seconds, and the radius is about 4 meters. As for her perks, Ana has the minor perks Groggy and Speed Serum. Enemies waking up from a sleep dart are slowed and take 50 damage over 2 seconds when using the Groggy perk. And with Speed Serum, Nano Boost grants 30% movement speed boost to both Ana and her target. Ana's major perks are Bionic Bounce and Headhunter. Bionic Bounce, after exploding, the grenade will bounce and explode again for 60 damage and healing. For Headhunter, Bionic Rifle can crit enemies. As for Ana's ultimate, the Nano Boost, it increases an ally's damage while reducing the damage taken. The healing output is 250 healing. They also get a damage amplification of plus 50% damage dealt, and also a damage reduction of minus 50% damage taken. It does last for 8 seconds, and the max range is 40 meters. For the positioning segment, I'm going to use the map King's Row as it adds a very clear overview of the value that Ana can add in a team fight, or in this case, multiple potential team fights. Ana may not have the most movement in the game, but she does add a lot of value in terms of things that she can see on the playing field. So she might not be the one who's able to run in and take on the enemy head first, but she is the one that's able to call out when the enemy is making a move, because she should be positioned far enough back to add visibility to the playing field and add value to each member of your team, whether they be a sniper, they be a flanker, or they be someone who's taking the brunt force on the front line. Ana is able to see this whole picture and help provide the comms and help provide the necessary pressure to help to mitigate those forefronts. So from Ana's point of view, we can see the high ground over here. We can see the objective and the choke points down below, as well as potential flank options. So here we are in Samoa applying the same things that we talked about while looking at the King's Row map. We can see into the high ground that we talked about previously. We can see into the overall choke point, or in this case, the objective here. And we can also see any potential flankers that might happen from locations here and also back here as well. From Ana's point of view, we can see the high ground visibility up here. We can see the choke and or the objective here. And then we see the 2 options for potential flanks down here. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you guys sticking through. We've covered most of the Ana basics, from her settings, abilities and kits, to perks, to ultimate, and also her positioning. If you guys like this kind of video, I'd be more than happy to make some relating to what perks I like to use and why, what crazy grenade spots I might have for different maps, some interesting positioning or specific Ana situations that you might fall into. Let me know in the comments below which ones you guys want to see most, and I'll put those together for you. Thanks again for sticking through, and hopefully you guys learned something.